All right, this is a Fox News Alert. Incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman, who was just banned from a New York City coffee shop because of his support for Israel. He has now lost his primary to a radical socialist backed by Mamdani.
Well, among Democrats themselves, the Democratic Socialists of America have a higher net favor rating than the Democratic Party does.
So are we ready to free Palestine? Are we ready to abolish ICE?
And candidates is under fire for her views on whether murderers should go to prison.
She wants to abolish borders, abolish prisons, and police. Is abolishing all those things is, quote, possible, necessary, and the only moral way forward. She has also said that all deportation is wrong and, quote, yes, literally abolish the border.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Democrat establishment is in full-blown panic mode right now because the woke socialist, terrorist-supporting, anti-Semitic, abolish ICE, abolish the police party, those people, they're winning, and they're winning big time.
At least those who are members of Congress. I mean, just take a look here. Dem Socialists of America, plus 17 points. Democrats in Congress, plus 4 points. No wonder that Dem Socialists are getting nominated across the political map in different primaries because, simply put, they are more popular than the Democrats currently in charge.
Zohran Mamdani, who's already a terrorist supporter, anti-Semite himself, who wants to have free grocery stores on taxpayer dollars, meaning it's not free at all. This guy endorsed 3 candidates, and he's 3 for 3.
The roof is collapsing on the Democratic Party establishment tonight. If Mamdani gets a hat trick, 3 out of 3, this is a new era for the Democratic Party. And you can't write off New York City because this is the place where both, it's a power center for the establishment and the insurgents. This is a straight up battle between the establishment and the insurgency, and the establishment is getting its butt kicked tonight in New York City.
Okay, he won. At least the people who he endorsed, his endorsement, I guess, had power because he endorsed these 3 radicals, and all 3 of these radicals somehow managed to win, in some cases taking out pretty strong incumbents.
Dan's going to lose. I don't agree with much of anything he's done in Congress, but I'm surprised you sort of glossed over the main issue in this race, which is Israel. I mean, Dan Goldman is a congressman, and he's Jewish, and he went into a coffee shop this weekend in Brooklyn, and they said, you're not welcome here anymore. Brad Lander is out speaking in mosques, telling those people that he'd like to go align himself with Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad. Dan Goldman's only sin, I guess, is that he thinks Israel has a right to exist. And for that, that has been the principal issue in this. And you've got the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, out saying about AIPAC and Jewish Americans who have participated in our politics that they are, quote, monsters. What is happening right now in New York City, the Democrat socialist takeover of the Democratic Party, should frighten not just Jewish Americans, but all Americans everywhere, because this is the direction the Democrats are headed nationally. Look what's happening in Michigan, and it is frightening. Throwing Democrat Jewish congressmen out of coffee shops in Brooklyn, New York, it's not 1930s Germany. This is the United States of America.
But I have them up here on the screen. Brad Lander, Claire Valdez, and Darializa, Avila, Chevalier. Look, her name too hard, but y'all see it up on the screen, okay? So all of these people have their problems. I got a whole list, a slew of problems. Every last one of them wants to abolish ICE. I'm going to start from top down. Brad Lander is straight up anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-ICE.
Solidarity is the force that we need to vanquish Trump's fascism, to abolish ICE, and to stand up to the billionaires who are rigging our economy.
Israel's genocide in Gaza is a desecration, is a violation of the understanding. So yes, in Congress, I will not vote for any more U.S. military aid to Israel. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Then you have Claire Valdez. This is another, it gets worse the further down you go, guys. But she wants to also abolish ICE and is truly radical against Israel as well.
So are we ready to free Palestine? Are we ready to abolish ICE? Are we ready to win Medicare for all, housing for all, and unions for all? I know that's right.
Free stuff for everybody. That's all these people ever talk about. That's, one of the biggest things that makes them socialists. And of course, she supports trans community and trans kids.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up trans rights, because this is one of those areas where I feel like we need your leadership in. And so what is your perspective on trans rights? And what do you think about the people that are eager to throw trans people or trans kids under the bus?
We've seen Democratic, politicians think that they can, trade trans people away for, a bigger share of, I don't even know what electorate they're trying to win back when they do that. And so we have to be, focused, really enshrining their rights as we do, within universal programs, and making sure that Medicare for All includes, gender affirming care and health care for trans folks.
Anytime anybody says anything about supporting anything trans related, be it kids or adults, you're automatically on my ish list. Okay. And Darializa, with the extremely ethnic name, she's the worst one of them all. She believes that there should be no border whatsoever, that we should abolish the police, like as in zero police. She thinks police are inherently bad and we should have zero police. While we're at it, why don't we just get rid of the criminal justice system? Why don't we just get rid of the law system entirely? Okay, no more courts, like no more arrests, just anarchy. Like somebody shoots and kills one of your family members, just go after and shoot and kill their family member back. Like fair is fair, right? That's what these dummies, they want to go back to third world operation.
I still ask about two tweets specifically because I think they are relevant to the race. The first is all deportation is wrong. Now, in Congress, obviously, that comes with a lot of questions about immigration enforcement. And even as Democrats might agree with calls that you have shared to things like abolish ICE, I don't know if they're necessarily there on things like all deportation is wrong. Is that something you still believe?
That phrase, yes. I still believe that all deportations are wrong. I really think that when in a time where we are spending more money than we have ever spent on policing, in a time where policing is more militarized than it has ever been, the fact that we are still asking the question, do we feel safe, is very telling. I know that we will not get rid of police overnight. That was never the goal. But the goal is to make sure that we get to a place as a society where we do feel safe.
There are cases in which migrants to New York have committed violent crimes, including murder, in this district. Under normal circumstances, undocumented defendants charged with crimes go through the system, and if convicted, they get deported before or after serving time. Ms. Chevalier, you recently said on WNYC Radio that defendants who commit crimes should not be deported after serving time. Why is that?
Because we have a criminal system. It cannot both be that a person who has citizenship is tried and convicted in one way, and a person who does not have citizenship is tried, convicted, and then forced to also endure another type of punishment on the basis of where they were born.
Friends, is why we need to elect Darializa Avila Chevalier. Dari is exactly who the people of the Bronx and Upper Manhattan deserve representing them in Congress.
The next 4 days, everybody here and everybody in the city has got to work hard to make sure that Brad and Claire and Darializa become the next congresspeople for New York City.
Chevalier sat down with the New York editorial board where she repeatedly dodged questions on how she thinks murderers should be handled as a self-proclaimed prison abolitionist. The questioner said, quote, "I went to a sentencing last week. A man killed another man, didn't know the person, just sitting on a stoop, got an 18-year prison sentence. Should that person not go to prison, and what should happen instead?" She replies, quote, "So, for prison abolitionists, I think a lot of folks misunderstand what that vision of the world actually is, and it is one that actually centers this question of harm. At the heart of what we're asking is, why is there that there's so much harm in our society?" She ended up dodging that question multiple times. And back out here live, she's also running on completely abolishing ICE. She's previously called Joe Biden a rapist. She's previously said, quote, "F Kamala Harris." Back during the COVID-19 pandemic, she urged the government to provide about $3,000 a month to everybody in basic universal income. She said pharmaceutical companies and private medical insurance should be dissolved. She also suggested that Medicare should be expanded to every single citizen and private property be seized from landlords. So that right there is what gets you an endorsement from Bernie Sanders and Zohran Mamdani these days, guys.
place where you just kind of just have full anarchy and there's no laws, there's no borders, there's no control over anything. You might as well not even have a damn government if it's going to be like that. The whole purpose of government is to establish and put systems in place that can help you maintain your society. If you don't have a strong government, you probably have a pretty crap society, and that's what these people inevitably want. The question is, are these people going to be effective? Are they going to maintain? Are they going to hold their seats, or is it going to be like a fluke, kind of like what happened with Crockett, Jamal Bowman? They all got booted out of Congress, right? Some people come and go. The question is, what's going to happen? Is this going to tank the Democrats in the 2028 presidential election, or are we going to have a socialist like maybe Zohran Mamdani decides to run for president and maybe he could actually win?
Darializa Avila Chevalier is one of the more controversial candidates. CNN earlier in the year reported that she had deleted previous Twitter posts expressing views for abolishing police, prisons, borders, seizing private property, nationalizing major industries, calling into question Israel's right to exist. She spoke to a friend of the show, Esther Herndon, in a recent interview, said that all deportations are immoral. So all of that being said, there she is defeating a Democratic incumbent, a powerful member of the Hispanic caucus, who's been there. The chairman. He's been there for a really long time. I mean, you could say that all of this is just controversial. She's a bad candidate, but she's likely to just be the congressperson. And does it not suggest, though, that the voters looked at that and they were like, we don't really care about that. We care about all these other things?
I think that's the problem for the greater Democratic Party in this district, or in these three districts. You have the ones who are the furthest to the left, who under no uncertain terms support open borders, do not support any deportation. And even in that podcast interview, I mean, she was given a follow-up of, even if it's a murderer, even if it's a rapist, no, they shouldn't be deported. Republicans are very obviously going to take advantage of this, and it's going to hurt the Democrats nationwide. You could win in New York, you can win in Seattle, you can win in Portland and Los Angeles, but that's where you're going to win. And if we're able to define the Democrats who have tried to run away from this label of being socialist, being open borders, being, pro-crime or anti-Israel, if that's the goal of the Democratic Party, to run from that, you're not going to be able to do that anymore.
I don't know, guys. I feel like this is a double-edged sword here, because here's what the socialists, these terrorist supporting anti-Semites do. They're not going to say that they support all these radical things. They're just going to say that they don't support them. Look what Kamala Harris did. She ran out in California. She supported transgender surgeries for migrants in prison. Then when she was asked about it later, that was my old position. Is that your position now? I mean, it was this position I once had. Well, what about now? I mean, that was, my previous position. And back then I stood on that. She never really denied it. She didn't say she supported it, right? She kind of just floated around the middle. Zohran Mamdani is a master of that. I'll be willing to bet at this stage, all these people are, right? They've all been in politics. They managed to win their elections. They know how to give the answers that are going to get people to take their side. So you might get a crazy radical up in office, possibly in 2028. I'm sure that some of these things are going to go against them in terms of independents and conservatives obviously voting for him. But for crying out loud, Kamala Harris actually wasn't that far away from winning, and she's not that much different from these people. If you take, especially in modern times with a lot of these radicals, and you start talking about, hey, I don't support Israel either, especially after this Iran situation just happened with all the propaganda surrounding that, and a lot of people, being all super duper anti-Israel now. Oh man, there's no way to tell what direction this is going to go. Some people think that this is going to kill the Democrats in 2028, but I'm not so sure about that. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Shout out to my members, patrons, and fellow anomalies: Cyber Noodle, 655, The Great, Bella Scott, Carpentier John, and Pinecone 6. I appreciate you guys every single day. Never underestimate radical left Democrats. We never thought they would get this far, So don't think they're not going to keep pushing the envelope further. Okay, be sure when the time comes, get out and vote.